Hey, Marat, my man, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Elisha. Very
Beautiful.
good. Very
Yeah, my
good.
man.
Thank you. Happy to be
Beautiful, my
here.
man. And thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Marat, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invested in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. Say some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Marat, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves are all dry, So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, my man, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the heart to move so close to it, which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, Marat. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day. I was so excited. I tell you, I was so excited. Here's my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Marats that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request for me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your philosophies, the impact your work is having, how you're offering your solution. These stuffs are beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, Marat, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Marat is doing, and not only me now, but even with the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Marat. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, my man.
Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you
Thank you so
too,
much for
man. Thank
inviting.
you too. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today, Marat, for two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Marat, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, my man, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge, and darkness ignorance. I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason I'm excited to have the amazing Marat on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, high opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, my man, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Marat, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Marat got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Marat, my man, over to you.
Thank, Thank you, Elisha. Thank you. It's always a bit hard to make an introduction because I don't know where to start. The beginning is like so far. But yeah, I'm from Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is a country in Eurasia. It's a post-Soviet country for maybe for many listeners from the United States. It's just like, it's a pretty like, that region that people don't know much about. It's like one of the stuns, right? But actually, it's a very large country. We're ninth largest country in the world, which are blessed to have a lot of natural resources and a pretty stable, good life. And I grew up there. Well, I was born. I'm at the moment I'm 42. I was born in 1983, so I was born in Soviet Union, and when I was 10, Soviet Union collapsed. And then like the tough 90s started. And then we moved back to Kazakhstan and I grew up there and I made my business there and my political career and my governmental career. But then something was truly missing. And I really had this longing for like, this is not exactly what I'm here to be doing. And in the end of 2017, I embarked on that quest that I didn't know where it's going to go. I didn't have a plan. I didn't go through retreats or anything. I was actually initially was planning to go to live in LA, but then I came to LA and I came to Mexico after that for a weekend. And in Mexico, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. And Mexico became my home for some time. And all that journey led me to where I am now. So today I'm a founder of a regenerative village called the Ark and located in Costa Rica in Santa Teresa. So, I want to say that an introduction would be like, I'm an ever expanding consciousness, as we all are. And I hope that I'm here to do here in this physical realm and in this life to bring a positive change to our day to day, to our reality, to bring a quality change and be a bridge between the old world and the new, more beautiful world that we're creating together.
Amazing. And I tell you, what you've been doing have been so, so impactful because the heart behind it is so genuine. I tell you. And that's a great word. So let us get started with the arc. Okay. What is the arc and what makes it so different from regular villages?
Yeah, thank you. The Ark is it's a village. It's a regenerative village. It's a 200-acre property located in Santa Teresa. And the main difference is that we are not a real estate development. And whenever I say that, people go like, "Oh, well, wait a second, what do you mean?" But what we're doing is that it's a new economical model. It's a new model how people can live, and we're inviting us to actually everything new is forgotten old, right? So we're inviting people to reflect back on how can we go back to this village living, to living on the land, to get out of the apartment blocks, to get out of the hustle and bustle and out of the rat race, but to actually go back to living from the land, being stewards of the land. And also at the same time, we all are collectively creating wealth, physical wealth, health wealth, and at the same time financial wealth. So what the ARC is offering is redistribution of this wealth. So whatever we are generating as the project, we're redistributing among all stakeholders and all people who live in the ARC. So imagine that you would buy an apartment in downtown LA and you would move in and the developer would say like, hey, Elisha, thank you so much for buying an apartment with us. We're going to be making X amount of dollars per year and like 1% of this money goes to you
Wow.
just because you're here with us now.
That's amazing, I tell you. Wow, wow. Is that how it operates in the act? Is that how it is? Wow.
Yes, that's how we operate. That's that's our one of the main distinguishing factors from other villages. Aside of that, of course, it's a very pleasurable way of living. It's a great way of living when you live in nature. We This 200 acres of land that I said, like 140 acres of this land were deforested in 1966. So we are for 60 years it was a cattle range. So now we're on this mission to reforest back the land, to bring back the biodiversity. So people who are joining the arc, they carry this flag of regeneration, like how we as humans can take degraded land. We don't have to cut out the jungle. We don't have to intervene into pristine nature, but we can take something like we as humans, we already made so much harm to nature that we can find these harmed places, and patch them and bring and like because we're gonna go and live there and we can actually get this land and become stewards of this land, take care of it. So now we're like creating water bodies. We have a 15-acre farm,
Wow.
we have a 60-acre natural like a wildlife sanctuary. So it's everything that's like, how you would be like, okay, how do I go to live in nature and not become a Mowgli, but actually live with comfort and enjoy this living? So that's why we call it like it's a regenerative village for the new era. You don't want to retreat kind of from the lifestyle that we have, right? You want to be connected. You want to have, I don't know, still work, be active in the digital world, but at the same time, maybe it's time, hopefully it's time for us to get back to living
Hmm,
in nature.
amazing. And all of this began with that quest you've got within your mind. You knew, nah, this isn't what I wanted, and you started to pursue after what you wanted. And now look at the beautiful things you're doing. It's amazing, Marat. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, so let's get personal a bit. How did growing up in Kazakhstan influence your vision for the
I think I was always, since I was little child, I was very eco aware, and even like I don't know, I don't know, like where I when I grew up and it was Soviet Union. When I was 6, I remember we had the first TV set in the whole like compound. So there was no like there was no television, and you could technically, as a child, you could not get any outside knowledge rather than a school or like a place where you play. And the TV, we were like as kids, we were not allowed to watch TV. It was like a privilege of grown-ups. So, but like, and I remember even at that age, I was very eco-aware by nature, by the way the universe created me. So I think growing up, I had a lot of this kind of like, we can do better as humans. And it's not that Kazakhstan somehow affected this. It was rather like something that I was carrying inside of me all the time. And it's like, I want to call it, and I love to call such things like an authentic alignment, when you kind of feel it inside of you, but at the same time, maybe the society, the voices around, they tell you that it's bollocks, and that like, you as a child, you kind of feel this calling, but it's getting very like dimmed with everything. And then if you're lucky, fortunate enough, if you are privileged to ask the question why for yourself, if you're privileged to kind of remove the noise and to have this opportunity to dig deeper and not to be like, oh, everyone's doing it, that's why I'm going to be doing that. But to go and like, what is this internal voices talking inside of you? Then you're gonna find it. And that's I'm eternally grateful to Mexico that allowed me, that gave me this time, to all my friends, to all the people, to the community, to nature, to insanely rich land of Mexico, that it nurtured this transition of me where I was like shedding an onion, I call it, removing the layers of
Mm,
what's not serving anymore and like unbecoming,
yeah.
or like becoming myself and and unlearning, like, and removing all that crap. I won't afraid of that word, that like, the voices that like society brought
Yeah,
to you. And so I think like what Kazakhstan definitely did for me was like, in my family, like I went to study in the military school when I was 14, which felt like a jail, to be honest. I won't
mm,
lie. But that gave me an insane sense of resiliency, insane, like, this ability to persevere no matter what. You're like, okay, that's it. I'm here for the next 3 years. I have to deal with that. So, and that resiliency, like when you're doing projects like this, I think whenever you're doing whichever meaningful thing, whenever you want to achieve something in life, like that's, I mean, I believe like 99% of the coaches are going to tell you this, and like large and big entrepreneurs, right? They're gonna tell you, hey, like if you don't have resilience, you don't get into that game.
that's so true. I tell you, my man. And you see, executing this amazing project, you're taking upon yourself such a great leadership role. So I'm curious about this. So, what leadership lessons have you learned from this journey so far?
I tend to believe that we are this bridge. Remember, I told you, like I feel myself like a bridge because we're it feels like we as a civilization, as a humanity, we're in this inverse point where we see an inevitable collapse of capitalism. We see the real face of capitalism, right? That it's just like the only God that capitalism has is money, and it's going to sacrifice whatever it takes for this God. Nature, lives, wellness, well-being, families, doesn't care. It's just like it just wants to generate more financial wealth for certain amount of people who are on top of that system, right? Like they're like the the Muppet holders. And I believe that this system we're seeing that it's collapsing. We see that it's not working anymore. And that's why I say, like, there is a more beautiful world that's possible. And there's like, the world where we collectively contribute to the sacredness of life. It's a regenerative world where we all believe that, hey, there is no separation between human and nature. There is no separation between human and human independently of a race, religion, whatever you call it, nationality, territory, anything, because we are one, right? And but we're not there. This is an inverse point, and we're like now in the deep bottom, and we're getting down and down, and we see right, and it's just like it's falling.
I
The house
tell
of
you.
cards is falling every day, and we feel it, right? It's like it's not that like it's not that like hey, like Marat had to come to the podcast to tell everyone about it. No, we feel it every day. We feel it on us, right?
Uh,
And it's like sometimes more. Some of us we just don't put it like maybe like in this kind of hustle and bustle of day to day life. We just don't put it into words. We don't have time to reflect on it, but we all innately we feel it like damn it, something is not working in this model that is happening now in the world. Like there shall not be so much activism if everything would be working. We shall not be having like all kind of like parades for the rights and for that and for that because like we believe that it's just like it's a artificially created situation.
exactly.
So and I want to think of myself, and I want to think about like, and that's how we're building the arc as this as this bridge, and we're building this bridge towards that more beautiful world. And that's what distinguishes us. And that's just like, this kind of authentic alignment that was calling. And now talking of that, Elisha, I completely forgot the question that you asked because I'm so passionate talking about that that it took us to a very wrong direction. I'm
No
sorry.
worries, my man. No, that was a beautiful one, though, because you see, the part you mentioned that all of these stuffs going on are created, they're artificially created, you see, more like it's man-made, intentional. I tell you,
Exactly.
and the beautiful stuff you do with the arc is really amazing, and I love it. Right now, I feel like being with you over there, man. You see, the beautiful stuff you do. Okay, okay. So,
You should come. You
one
should come.
day, one day. Okay, so what
One
about this one? Finally,
day.
what advice would you give to someone who wants to create their own intentional community?
I think first and foremost, think and reflect on like, why you want to do that. And very often it's a trend, right? There like we see a lot of intentional communities and projects like this appearing in the world, which is beautiful. We all are again trying to find these models because again we understand that something is not working. I definitely would suggest to first of all research and to see what's already existing. There are so many great projects exist, and we all need great people. And we don't need to compete with each other, but rather we have to complement each other. It's not us against each other as a competition, but it's rather like us together as proving that this can work. So if somebody wants to go on this journey, I would strongly suggest firstly like make a research and check like who is there and go visit them, go check it out, and maybe first don't start your own but join someone. Yeah, because it's not about like having a badge of like a founder on you, it is like this the very quickly that you start that you realize that it makes no sense because then you're creating a situation or reality where you're creating everyone equal. You don't want to create another hierarchy. That's not what you want to do it, right? You want to create intentional community where you create all like or you invite equals to the circle. So like coming back actually to your like question that I just remembered now, that the leadership like kind of lessons, that's like maybe it's also can be a great for people who want to start intentional communities. I had to unlearn everything that I learned about leadership, that I grew up on the books of Jack Welch of corporate America. I That's what was like. I was going to this like, so I absorbed capitalism through all business books of 90s, and like I was like hustle culture and go for it and da da da. And then when I started that, I was like, this is all crap. This is all not working. This is like, but it's just like, you have to show up like, you're the most motivated and la la la. You have to show up as yourself, and sometimes you have to sit in the circle together with your team and just be real. Nobody needs this Superman. Nobody needs Superman. People just need regular humans who are doing things together. And I think this is the most important thing, that is just like not to create these hierarchical structures, but rather to go towards heterarchy, to go towards flat structures where every voice matters. Doesn't matter which voice it is. Because like the amount of wisdom, the amount of things that you can learn from the person who does day-to-day cleaning, and you just like, hey, so how can we improve that, what you're doing? What can I learn?
Mm,
Not that like I'm bringing you and I'm gonna tell you, like I'm gonna give you the schedule, like, and they gonna the amount of great thoughts, the amount of love and loyalty that you're going to get from a person that was not seen for all their life. Because who sees like, a person who cleans bathrooms,
right.
right? It's just like, it just magically happens in the capitalistic world. But then when you see, and this person is seen, and this person understands that they contribute truly from their heart, and then it's like not only their like labor, but also their mind, then they're motivated to do more. So like, listening to everyone equally and not diminishing anyone's voice, and make everyone equal. I do
Amazing,
I believe that would
amazing.
be the
That's a
lesson.
beautiful one. Oh boy, thank you for sharing that, my man. And I'll take that as a final thought. So for folks who would like to reach out to you, Marat, or learn more about the hack and all of the beautiful stuff you're doing, how can that be possible?
Well, visit our website. It's thearc.world, and the same for Instagram handle, thearc.world. And come visit us. More than anything, I think I'm inviting everyone to step out from just like, checking in the websites, but like to go into the real world, and like come join us in the farm. Put your hands into the soil. Come work out with us. Come surf with us. Come for hikes, horseback riding, swim in the ocean, like bathe in the sun.
Amazing experiences, I tell you. That's a beautiful one, my man. Oh, I love that. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Marat. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, my brother.